You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host, Chukka Wilson. Thank you very much for watching this broadcast. You can follow Channel 8, the local sports network, on YouTube. Please subscribe to us. On Facebook, please like our page. If you have any inquiries, please email us. This is Channel 8. We are dedicated to broadcasting local sports around the area. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Coventry Oval here in Diamond Creek. We are about to witness round 6 of the B grade division in the 2017-18 season, which is Diamond Creek versus Riverside. Now, this game was supposed to be a 2-day game, but as we saw from the previous week, it was rained out because of too much rain. The entire ground was covered in the wet stuff, and so we were unable to actually play last week, which means this game has been reduced to a 1-day game, that is 40 overs each, and it should be a very thrilling match. We've already seen Diamond Creek in the B grade play in 2 1-day games this season, and this will be their 3rd. Now, in terms of the state of the B grade, now this is where things get really exciting, because there are 8 teams in the B grade. Riverside are on top with 4-1 and 24 points. Diamond Creek are in 2nd place with 3-1 and the 1 tie. They are on 21 points. And then there are 2 teams on 3-2, which are Epping and Bundura. They are both on 3-2 and they're on 18 points. Then we have 3 teams who are on 2 wins. So first of all, we've got Mernda, who have 2-2 with the 1 tie, 15 points. And then there are the 2 teams who are 2-3, which are Montmorency and McLeod, and they both have 12 points. And then finally at the bottom of the ladder we have Bundura, who are 0-5 on 0 points. So straight away we can see this is 1st versus 2nd in the B grade. Now this is of course round 6, which means there is only 1 round to go before the Christmas break. So just to remind everyone, today is December the 9th, and then in 1 week's time it's going to be December the 16th, which is the final game of the 2017 calendar year. Then we go on to our Christmas break, and we won't be coming back until January. So there's just this game to go, which is a 1-day game now because of the rain, and then next week is also a 1-day game, and by then there'll have been 7 rounds in the B grade, and more or less we'll have an understanding of what the B grade final setup is going to be appearing like. Obviously there'll be lots of more games to play to try to compete for spots in the finals, but we'll get a general sense of what the finals would likely look like. What is the top 4 going to be structured like? What is the sense of who is where in terms of the ladder? So this is 1st versus 2nd, so it's going to be crucial to decide, to figure out which of these teams obviously is superior to the other one, but are they going to actually remain in the top 2 through the next period of the season, the next 4 rounds? A team that wins here could actually cement their spot in 1st place, but a team that loses might risk getting leapfrogged over, and they might find themselves in the second two rather than the top two. So both teams are very much want to win here. Obviously, they're not in risk of getting kicked out of the top four, so it's not a life or death match, but it will be a key lynch point, locus point, in terms of determining exactly what the B grade is going to be looking like. So that is the state of the game that we are about to see. Now, it's time to talk about the all-important weather. Now, we had quite a lot of rain last weekend, as you all know. Saturday, which is the day that it was rained out, had 43.8 millimeters of rain, and on Friday there was 20 millimeters, and then on Sunday there was 5. So over the course of just 3 days there was 70 millimeters of rain. And of course, last week there was just absolutely no cricket. No cricket on Wednesday, no cricket on Friday night, no cricket Saturday morning, and then no cricket Saturday afternoon. Okay, so then through the rest of this week. So Sunday was 17 degrees, and which had 5.4 millimeters of rain. Then Monday was the same with 17.5 degrees with 1.8 millimeters of rain. So sticking to that very coolish weather. It's unusual for summer to be in the teens. You'd expect a normal day in the summer to be in the 20s, but there you go. Then things started to heat up. By Tuesday it was 22.8 degrees and there was no rain. Then on Wednesday there was 21.3 degrees with no rain. And then on Thursday there was suddenly another downpour of rain where it was 22 degrees and 25 millimeters of rain fell on Thursday. And so we were I was very worried that we might get a repeat for the fourth week in a row. We might get a repeat of there being too much rain. So we had too much rain with day one of the previous round, and then day 2 of the previous round, and then day 1 of this round has been washed out. And so this would have been the 4th week in a row in which rain would have played an effect. Now, thankfully there was no rain yesterday on Friday, and it was 19 degrees. So today is Saturday. Today is going to be it was a minimum overnight of 12 degrees and a top of 22 degrees with a 20% chance of rain with slight chance of showers in the morning, mostly cloudy, projected rainfall of 0 millimeters. Now, you probably won't be able to pick it up on your monitors, but there is a light drizzle that is currently happening. It is just a gentle spit. It's the sort of spit where you can just walk through it. You don't even have to worry about shielding your face, let alone getting an umbrella out. It's very gentle, and it's just pitter-pattering across Coventry Oval. Very gentle stuff, very unintrusive, nothing to worry about. But when we look at these clouds across the sky, some of the clouds are quite bright and almost white in colour, and others are very dark. And so, and the clouds do not appear to be moving. There is no great wind that's happening today, so far this morning. And so, if the clouds are going to move in any direction, or if the sun's going to play a bit of a role, well, that's yet to be seen. But currently, it is very overcast. It's quite darkish outside. It's not nighttime, it's not squinting, but you do need to adjust yourself to how dim everything is outside. So other than that, you wouldn't imagine that this rain is going to play any of a serious problem. And furthermore, I don't think there's any need to bring in any protections for it. I think it's just something that we just have to deal with over the course of the day. We might not even have to deal with it. The rain might just dissipate within the next hour or so, because it's not holding any sort of a presence right now. Alright, so that is the weather, that is the B grade, and that is the game we are currently about to deal with. Alright, so it's time to take a break. You are watching Bizz. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am Chukka Wilson, your host and lead commentator. We are about to watch Diamond Creek versus Riverside in the B grade here at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. We are now going to take a break, and when we come back, we have more of the pre-game show.
The flicker of a TV in a long forgotten memory are the only things you'll ever leave behind. The dust that's on the floor, there's no one at your door. Now tell me, do you really think you're free? The war is done, my friend. You fought until the end and threw your white flag down. Morning, noon, and night, you always seem to lose the fight. Spaulding, where the hell are you? The pull of the ocean is set into motion, and now you're on your way. Today is the day when you're going to swim to Cambodia. You once were little pleased with the fire of your younger days. You blinded everyone you met, but you never were the same since Dublin's night consumed your flame. It stole the matches from your pocket. The Hudson's freezing, but your brain cells keep on squeezing round the thought that you must swim away today from the Staten Island ferry on the coldest night in January. It's Cambodia or bust. Once had feared the man who held you in his hand. He controlled you in your sleep. But now the end's your friend. You're reaching to extend your white flag to the sky you once had cursed. The sun is sinking and your frozen eyes are blinking at the cold Atlantic nothingness ahead. You take a deep sigh and you wave a passing goodbye, and you set your course and swim away. The pull of the ocean is set into motion, and now you're on your way. Today's the day when you're going to swim to Cambodia. Bonjour, mon ami. The sweetest thing to hit parade. Would you spend a little time with me today? Bonjour, ma chérie. I love it when you talk to me, though I don't understand a single word you say. Your accent sounds so bourgeoisie to a hick like me from Tennessee, but you make me feel just like $1,000,000 francs. It's like money in the bank. Bonjour, mon ami. Would you give me back my joie de vivre and let me bid adieu to lonely days? Bonjour, ma chérie. The time for love is aujourd'hui. I wanna see just what a French kiss ought to be. So maybe I can't parlez-vous français, just take me anyway. We both can't speak the language of love, so let's get this conversation on the road. Bonjour, mon ami. You shouldn't slap my face, you see, 'cause in America that means that you were mad. And then you show me how to find the door. I guess that's what they call them all. So for now it's just adieu to mon ami. So for now it's just adieu to mon ami.
Hello everyone, and welcome back. You are watching, of course, Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am the Managing Director of Sports Production across Channel 8 and Bizz 99.9 FM, Chukka Wilson, and today I will be your host and lead commentator. Now we are about to watch round 6 of the B grade in the 2017-18 season, which is Diamond Creek versus Riverside here at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. Now we happened to have watched a previous game between these two teams. It was round 1, so a couple of months ago, we watched them play at the Mangrook Oval in a one-day game where we saw Riverside post a total and Diamond Creek chase it down in the final over. And now, over the course of the season, with 5 other rounds having been played, we find that Riverside have won all 4 of their other games. The only game that they lost was round 1 against this very team, Diamond Creek. Meanwhile, Diamond Creek have tied 1 game, lost 1 game, and won 2 games, which is why they are 3-1. So Riverside are at the top of the ladder with 24 points. Diamond Creek are on 21 points. So it is first versus second here, with the second last game before the Christmas break. Right, let's have a look at the two teams now. So let's start with Diamond Creek. We have Jared Williams, Stephen Luff, Callum Sexton, Dylan Bedurk, Mitchell McDonald, Bradley Shallard, Lachlan Devine, Joshua Merritt, Jackson Elzink, Bailey Robshaw, and Mitchell Elzink. On Riverside we have Stephen Corcoran, James Hartigan, Glenn Smythe, Brett Lewis, Nathan Bragg, Ben Jerkovich, Marcus Brooker, Liam Johns, Luke Morgan, Lachlan Woolcock, and Connor Gedge. So, to look at it in a bit more detail, let's have a look at their stats. So, Williams has had a moderate season with the bat. He has scored 70 runs at an average of 17 with a higher score of 29. Luff has also done well. He has an average of 19 with a higher score of 24 with 58 runs to his name. Callum Sexton down the bottom of the order has scored 13 runs and without going out. Bedurk has scored 72 runs at 24 with a higher score of 33 not out. McDonald has scored 73 runs as well with a batting average of 12, highest score of 36. Shallot has only played one game for the B grade, in which he scored 2 runs. Merritt has scored 54 runs at an average of 13.5 with a higher score of 26. Elzink, that's M. Elzink, which is Mitchell Elzink, has scored 81 runs at an average of 16, highest score 51. Rob Shaw has only batted once, in which he made a duck. And finally, Devine is the leading run scorer for Diamond Creek in the B grade with 102 runs at an average of 20, highest score of 39. And so there are a few things to note. One is that all of the batsmen for Diamond Creek have batting averages at least above 10 and many above 15, which is very positive. That's that you need to make sure that you have good run scorers in your team. But only one player has scored a half century so far this season. Only Elzink, Mitchell Elzink, has scored 51, and that's the only half century. Everyone else has higher scores in the 20s and 30s. Now, some of that is understandable because you're playing one-day games. You're playing at lower scoring grounds like the Marngrook Oval, but it doesn't make any sense that you've played 6 games and all of your players, bar one, have higher scores in the 20s and 30s. It seems very strange. Anyway, let's have a look at the Diamond Creek bowlers. Mitchell Elzink is the leading wicket taker, 12 wickets at 11, best bowling of 5 for 17. Then we've got the other Elzink. We've got Jackson Elzink, who has taken 6 wickets at 10, highest score, best performance 2 for 4. Rob Shaw has 5 wickets at 22, best of 3 for 29. Then we got Williams. Now Williams, being the captain and obviously being primarily a batsman, then decided to roll the arm over one game and took 4 for 33. So out of nowhere, from not bowling at all, suddenly he has the lowest bowling average of just 9 with his 4 wickets. Then we've got Callum Sexton, who has 4 wickets at 16, best of 2 for 22. And then one of the most surprising ones is Dylan Bedurk. Now, I have said that I really like Bedurk. I think he's got an excellent bowling style and a bowling attitude and bowling action, and he really does. He looks like a very impressive bowler, and yet he has some of the worst figures you'll ever see. So I'm guessing that he hasn't been able to just get the rewards of the wickets despite being a really good bowler. So amazingly, he has 4 wickets at 38, best of 2 for 12. Now that's just amazing. I can't imagine that, like, a good bowler like him having a bowling average of 38 seems remarkable. And then the other players from the current team who have had a bowl: Shallard, bowled none for 13, and McDonald none for 15. That doesn't tell you anything. So there you go. You'd have to say that in terms of Diamond Creek batting, there's still a question of making some bigger scores beyond the 20s and 30s. But in terms of the bowling, it looks very impressive. I mean, the Elsinks, Sexton, and then also Bedurk, Robshaw, that looked like a really excellent bowling attack, and it would be very, very difficult to have to confront, and they seem to be a very bowling heavy side to Diamond Creek in the B grade, so we'll just have to see what this game holds, because this is going to be a very different beast. This is, of course, Coventry Oval. It's not the biggest ground, but it's a very well maintained ground. A lovely, lovely outfield. It's wonderfully short and quick, so we'll just have to see what happens. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a closer look at the Riverside team. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. We are watching round 6 of the B grade in the 2017-18 season between Diamond Creek and Riverside. Don't go away, we've got more of the pre-game show after this break.
Let you go so long ago, so long. This is not where I belong. So I wait for the shallow itch to pass, and I wait, yeah, I wait. Okay, I don't need this anyway, I'm fine. It's yours and mine. Oh, I don't know what I was ever hoping I would find, but it's time for me to leave this all behind. Single thing I couldn't say, it didn't feel alright, but I don't wanna stay and I don't wanna fight all alone with my foolish appetite. So I wait for the shallow itch to pass, and I wait, yeah, I wait. Hey, I'm okay, I don't need this anyway, I'm fine. It's yours and mine. Whoa, I don't know what I was ever hoping I would find, but it's time for me to leave this all behind. I don't have the heart to give away to you again. I don't have the stomach for it, no one ever wins. We had our fun, but I have sung this song to you before. Here's my last refrain. Hey, I'm okay, I don't need this anyway.
and welcome back. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson. Welcome very much to this broadcast. We are about to see Diamond Creek versus Riverside, round 6 in the B grade, in this, the 2017-18 season, here at the beautiful, beautiful Coventry Oval. It is a pleasant summer day here. Just as I am speaking now, it looks as if some of the wind is picking up, some of the cloud is dissipating. Gaps in the cloud of blue are starting to emerge. We're starting to see brighter shades of cloud. The sun is now bursting out. It's not bright enough that you would have to put on sunglasses, but it is becoming brighter nonetheless. And the darker clouds seem to be getting pushed away onto the horizon. So now let's have a look at the Riverside team in a bit more detail. So Hartigan has only played one game and scored 2 not out. Smythe has an average of 23, highest score 38 with 70 runs. Lewis has only batted twice with 2 not outs, so he scored only 3 runs with a high score of 2 not out. Then we have Bragg. Now Bragg has the remarkable figures of scoring 224 runs at an average of 56 with a higher score of 118. So Bragg is far and away the best batter for Riverside. Then we have Jerkovic, who has batted once with he scored 22. Then we have Brooker, who has batted twice and he has scored 40 runs at an average of 20 with a high score of 38. And then we got Johns, who has scored 113 runs at 22, highest score 50. And then we got Morgan, who has scored 81 runs at an average of 40 with highest score of 41. Woolcock has 35 runs at 11 with a highest score of 14. And then we've got Gedge with 122 runs at an average of 24 with a high score of 54. Now the only player from that team who has not played in the B grade yet this season is Kokoran. Kokoran has played in the E grade and the D grade for Riverside this season so far. So first game he played in the E grade, he scored 1. Then he played in the D grade, 9. In the D grade, 13. And then he also played in the 2020 competition where he scored a duck. So Kokoran being promoted up to the B grade, even though he hasn't done anything with the bat just yet. And just from those stats you can see that Riverside have made higher scores and more runs over the course of the season, rather than most batsmen having 70 or 80 runs over the course of the season so far. They have in the hundreds. 3 different players have scored over 100 runs, and the other players who have not scored as many runs just haven't played enough games in the B grade to get up to above, to get into the triple figure mark. And then when you have a look at the question of higher scores, so one player scored a 40, 2 players have scored 50s, and another player scored 100. So just from those stats, you'd say Riverside have not only scored more runs, but they've scored bigger runs. So they're much more. They've got more batting numbers under their belt so far this season than have Diamond Creek. Okay, so let's have a look at the bowlers now. Morgan, who has taken 9 wickets at 7 with a best of 3 for 24. Woolcock has taken 8 at 17 with a best of 3 for 42. Lewis has taken 7 wickets at 22 with a best of 2 for 10. Gedge has taken 5 with a best of 15. No, sorry, at 5 wickets at 15 with a best of 3 for 36. And then Hardican has taken 4 wickets at 3.5 with a best of 4 for 14. Now, on those stats, you would have to say that Riverside have just as good a bowling side as do Diamond Creek. I mean, those are some serious numbers. 2 bowlers, well, I don't know whether you can really count Hardican because he only played 1 game in the B grade so far this season, but if you count him, you'd say 2 players have bowling averages of lower than 10, and then 2 more bowlers have bowling averages under 20, and Lewis is the I don't know if you could call it worst bowler with a bowling average of 22, which is still very impressive, still very nice. And so all of the stats from Riverside bowling say that they should be able to compete ball for ball with what Diamond Creek can come up with. So, where the question is going to be, what is going to happen when the Diamond Creek batting meets up against the Riverside bowling? Will the Diamond Creek batters actually able to produce enough runs to actually chase down a total or set a target? Because that would be the most troubling aspect of this game. Will Diamond Creek actually have the batting power to actually launch into a big score in this game? Alright, so now we've gone through the 2 teams, so now it's time to take another break. Just before we do take another break, I just want to get you an update on the weather. Now the sun has burst a little bit more through the clouds. Now we have some, I'm not going to say direct sunlight, but it looks, actually now it is becoming direct sunlight. Alright, so the sun has burst through the clouds, and now we have some direct sunlight onto the ground. I think you would need to wear sunglasses because it's becoming that bright. The dark clouds are continuing to move away from the ground over onto the horizons, and in terms of what is taking place right above us, it is becoming much more blue and much thinner. The clouds are thinning out above us, and they remain dark and ominous and scary as they are heading off to the horizon. So it all looks very good right now. It looks like we're not going to be troubled by any nasty rain. Okay, it's time to take a break now. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson. We are here at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek to watch round 6 of the B grade in the 2017-18 season between Diamond Creek and Riverside. This is first place versus second place on today, the 9th of December. Okay, let's take a break now, and when we come back, we have more of the morning show.
Why even try to justify leaving? Why not just run away? Why even wait and hesitate breathing? Why would you wanna stay? Nothing you say can change the way he feels. Nothing could save you now. So just let this go. Don't you see the lies that he's telling? Why don't you give it up and just to let him go? Shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. On the side of the street, you're on your feet, so take a step and calmly walk away. Your heart on a string without a wing flying, no one to hold the kite. He let you go, but still you blow by, oblivious to the height. Check out behind and you will find nothing's holding you to the ground. He just let you go. Shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. On the side of the street, you're on your feet, so take a step and calmly walk away. Don't let him pull you down. Just let him drown alone. Your land, and someday you will find a truer hand. I know you tried to see his side clearly. I know you gave your all. I know you died a little inside when nobody heard your call. Every mistake you come to make grows and echoes inside your brain. You need to let them go. Shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. On the side of the street, you're on your feet, so take a step and calmly walk away. Yeah, shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. On the side of the street, you're on your feet, so take a step and calmly walk away. Take a step and calmly walk away.
And welcome back. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. Like Channel 8, the local sports network, on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you have anything you'd like to say, send us an email. That is Channel 8, the local sports network. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson. Thank you very much to this broadcast. Now, we are about to watch round 6 of the B grade, but in the 2017-18 season, which is between Diamond Creek and Riverside. This is first place versus second place. So we are about to go through, we've already gone through the teams and the weather. Now the weather has continued to improve. The sunlight has burst through most of the clouds, and now it is so bright that you do need to wear sunglasses in order to make sense of what is happening out there. And the rain has well and truly gone. The rain clouds are well and truly gone, and it looks like it's going to just be a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. After what we've seen for the last 3 weeks, with the rest of a day's play lost because of the rain, because of the torrential rain that happened 3 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks ago the rain was a nuisance, and then of course last week we had 0 cricket, which is the greatest tragedy of all. 0 cricket across an entire week because of there being too much rain. Now, most of that rain, so it's mostly to do with the rainy season that happens in the southern hemisphere, where over the course of normally the springtime, there are days which are very humid. There are days which are very humid, and oh, we're about to see the toss. There we go. Now, there are days which are very humid, and then it's unbearably unpleasant to go through. It's often quite hot, and then there's massive amounts of rain, and then the rain stops for a couple of days, and then there's more humidity, more unpleasant hot days, and then there's more rain, and that goes through the entirety of the springtime. And then around about the swap over from spring to summer, which is usually the start of December, we see no more rain, and then we move on to a different type of weather where gets very hot, gets into the 30 degrees, but it's very dry heat. It's not humid, and it often stays quite dry and hot through the night, where you have minimums in the 20s and highs in the 30s. That's the usual way that it goes in the southern hemisphere. And then the worst, obviously, time for bushfires is come February and March, where you've had 3 or 4 months of just relentless dry hotness, where all the moisture is gone from plants and the soil, and all you've got left is just dead timber and kindling. And that's the most dangerous time when there's no rain about to actually moisten the ground and re-moisten the trees, and it's very hot. That's the most dangerous time for bushfires, come around February and March. But unusual for this season is that we've had much more rain, and the rainy season has come much later. So we've had, we were saying earlier in this season that we were expecting rounds 1, 2 and 3 to be the ones that would go under risk of being washed out, but they played perfectly fine. And it's these next allotment of rounds which have been threatened with the rain. So the rainy season has come maybe a month later than it usually does in terms of what happens normally here in the southern hemisphere. Nonetheless, the important thing is that we have not had any completely washed out games. The games that we have had played have still seen results, and that was what happened last round. Even though the last half an hour or so of the day's play was lost, we still got results from all those games. And then this round, even though day 1 was lost, we are still going to be getting a result because this is a 1-day game, and so that's why no actual, in terms of getting results, in actually getting cricket on the field, nothing has been lost so far despite this rain. Alright, now let's have a look at what has happened in the B grade so far this season. So we're going to have a look at the 5 games that have been played so far for Diamond Creek and Riverside, and then we'll get a sense of just who's doing well and who's not over the course of so far this season. So there are 5 rounds. Alright, so let's start with Diamond Creek. So Now, obviously, Riverside and Diamond Creek have played each other in a game, which was round 1. So obviously, we need to. We'll be repeating a game, which is a game that we saw on Channel 8. It was broadcast on Channel 8, so that's quite interesting. So here we go. Diamond Creek. Round 1 against Riverside at Mungrook Oval, where Riverside won the toss and elected to bat. They ended up batting out their 40 overs, 5 for 144, Brooker 38, Bragg 27, Gedge 24 not out, and Doyle 26. For the Diamond Creek bowlers, Wells 2 for 18, Sexton 1 for 15, then Elzink got 1 as well, and Watson got 1 as well. In response, Diamond Creek chased it down in the final over. 6 down for 152. William 29, McDonald 25, Taylor 34, Wells 28, and Devine also got into double figures. For the Riverside bowlers, Gedge 3 for 36, Morgan 2 for 24, and 1 for Lewis. So that was round 1. Now, before I continue, it looks as if Diamond Creek will bat first, because we can see Riverside doing fielding practice, while Diamond Creek are in the nets doing batting practice. So that tells us that Diamond Creek are going to bat first. Okay, round 2. This is another game that was broadcast on Channel 8, so there you go. This one was against Mernda at the Mungrook Oval. Diamond Creek won the toss and batted first, and they ended up with a score of 6 for 144. Devine 39, McDonald 36, Bedurk 23, and then Taylor and Wells also got double figures. For Mernda's bowlers, Corrigan got 2 for 18, and then 1s for Bainbridge, Greneau, Perrin, and Pratt. In response, Mernda were bowled out in the final over with just 1 ball to spare for exactly the same score, 144. Stott 25, Mercury 21, Smith 29, and then double figure scores for Jarabek, Greneau, and Pratt. For the Diamond Creek bowlers, Williams 4 for 33, Bedurk 2 for 30, and then 1s to Sexton, Wells, and Elzink. Okay, so now we're going on to games that we actually have not seen here on Channel 8. So, versus McLeod at McLeod Park, round 3. Diamond Creek won the toss and elected to field. McLeod ended up being bowled out. This is a 2-day game, so being bowled out in the 63rd over for 128. Copsey 40 not out, Smythe 23, and then Bosso and Cleary got double figure scores. For the Diamond Creek bowlers, Elzink 5 for 17, Sexton 2 for 22, and then 1s to Elzink, Robshaw, and Wells. And now there seems to be a pleasant breeze that is coming across Commentary Oval. It's I'm not sure what direction it's coming from, but it is very pleasant. It's coming from the Elizabeth end across the ground. Then in response, Diamond Creek chased it down in the 71st over, 6 wickets down. Wells 39 not out, Elzink 21, Taylor 24, Luff 24. For the McLeod bowlers, Cleary 2 for 14, Brandt 2 for 21, and then 1 to White. Alright. Round 4 versus Bundoora United at Loyola Reserve. Bundoora United won the toss and elected to bat. getting bowled out in the 46th over for just 92. Meredith 26, and then double figure scores to Pisano, Sharkey and Brennan. For the Diamond Creek bowlers, Rob Shaw 3 for 29, Elzink 3 for 19, Dirk 2 for 12, and Elzink 2 for 4. In response, Diamond Creek won the game on first innings points, getting a 56 run lead before declaring. So they declared 7 for 148 after 41 overs. Elzink 51, Merritt 26, Devine 29, and then also a double figure score for Williams. For the Bundoora United bowlers, Arara took 3 for 58, and then Giarusso took 1, and Herbar took 1. So, 56 run lead coming into the second innings. Amazingly, Bundoora United put up an excellent show. They scored 8 for 183 declared off their 57 overs. So not only did they wipe out the deficit, but they then put on a 127 run lead in order to be in a position to declare. So they, let's see, Stafford 51, Meredith 49, and then Sharkey, Slattery, and Brennan also got double figure scores, and then Giarusso scored 28 not out. For Diamond Creek bowlers, Saul 3 for 37, Elzink 3 for 44, and then Elzink 2 for 17. So suddenly, Diamond Creek got from a position of trying to get outright points and actually declaring with a lead, to now being in a position where they've got to defend from losing outright. And they were able to, or they could have chased down those runs. That's the other thing. So set 127 runs to win with a very small amount of time. They went for it, going at 7 runs and over, but losing 7 wickets. So either result could have happened. They could have tried to chase down the total, or they could have gotten bowled out, but in the end neither happened, and it was a draw. Williams 26, Dirk 33 not out, Devine 21, and then also a double figure score for Luff. And then the only Diamond Creek bowler who took wickets was Giarusso with 5 for 61. So, first innings points for Diamond Creek, and there was no outright result because Bundoora United couldn't take the wickets and Diamond Creek couldn't score the runs. And then finally, round 5. Versus Epping at the Epping Recreation Reserve. Diamond Creek won the toss. And they elected to bat and were bowled out for 76, batting an amazingly 50 overs. Saul was the only batsman from Diamond Creek to get double figures with 19. For the Epping bowlers, Fitzpatrick 4 for 17, Talaveski 2 for 12, Stevkanov 2 for 14, and then ones to Wilkins and Fitzpatrick. Epping chased down the target with in 25 overs, with Kearney 24 not out and Shortus 33 not out. The only Diamond Creek bowler to take a wicket was Rob Shaw with 1 for 10. So, humiliating defeat by Diamond Creek, and that was in the rain-affected game. So that was last round in the rain-affected game when the afternoon session coming towards the evening was washed out. So that's why it's a bit, there aren't as many overs having been bowled as you otherwise would have expected. Okay, so that is Diamond Creek, and as you can see, they've won a few games. They tied a game, but they lost that last game. very badly. Alright, let's take another break, and when we come back, we'll have a look at what Riverside have done so far this season. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson. We are here for round 6 of the B grade in the 2017-18 season here at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. This is Diamond Creek versus Riverside. Don't go away. We have more of the pre-game show, and then cricket is not far away. This is Channel 8.
Say no more to me, pack up your storm. I've been lost in the woods since the day I was born. I'd have pushed you aside, but your body was warm and your hands were open. I've been guilty of kindness and love. I've been knocked on the ground when your push came to shove. But the scars on my body are withered and knotty, and they left me broken. Said I'm stumbling past like a trembling mouse on the lawn. So Mallory, you do what you gotta do and be gone. There's a tear in the fabric that's under your skin, and it grows like a chasm and swallows me in. And I'd run like a coward, but I'm overpowered and falling slowly. All the horses in all of the land, they heave and they pull just as hard as they can, but they fumble and waver and sink in the sand as I drift away. Oh, Mallory, oh, Mallory, you're a snake in the grass and I'm stumbling past like a trembling mouse on the lawn. So Mallory, you do what you gotta do and be gone. And I'm stumbling past like a trembling mouse on the lawn. So Mallory, you do what you gotta do and be gone.
Okay, so now let's have a look at what Riverside have done so far this season. So, we've already gone through this game, but let's go through it again. Round 1 versus Diamond Creek at the Moncrick Oval. Riverside scoring 144 from their 40 overs. Diamond Creek chasing it down 6 for 152. So Riverside losing their first game of the season. Then round 2 versus Montmorency at the Central Park in Greensboro. Riverside won the toss and elected to field first. Montmorency batted out their 40 overs, 9 for 119. Barnett 37, Compton 23, and then double figure scores to Simons, O'Connor, and Pathania. For the Riverside bowlers, Lewis 2 for 10, Gedge 2 for 40, Morgan 2 for 16, and then ones to Dalton and Woolcock. In response, Riverside chased it down in the final over of the innings, 9 for 121, Johns 39, then double figure scores to Gedge, and Doyle and Smythe. For the bowlers of Montmorency, Barrett 2 for 23, then ones to Compton, Syed, O'Brien and Scott. Round 3 versus Bundura at the Watmo Park. Riverside won the toss and elected to bat, scoring 5 for 308 from their 80 overs. Bragg 118, Gedge 54, Doyle 74, Morgan 32 not out. For the Bundura bowlers, Giorusso 3 for 60 and Sharkey 1 for 93. In response, Bundura bowled out for 115. Slattery 24, Pisano 38, and then double figure scores for Drohan, Stafford. And for the Riverside bowlers, Money 36, Dalton 2 for 11, Morgan 2 for 1, Woolcock 1, and Lewis took another wicket. Round 4 versus McLeod at Watmo Park. Riverside won the toss and elected to bat, and once again they put up a mighty total, this time 9 for 284 from all 80 overs. Johns 50, Doyle 84, Smythe 38, Morgan 41, and then double figure scores for Woolcock and Mills. For the McLeod bowlers, Kavak 3 for 73, McKinley 3 for 58, then ones to White and Brandon. McLeod responded, bowled out for 159, nowhere near the target. Bosso 60, Lumsden 35, and then double figure scores for Copesy, McKinley, Kovac and Chiminello. Woolcock 3 for 42, Morgan 3 for 24, Dalton 2 for 8, then ones to Lewis and Nevicius. So McLeod going nowhere near the Riverside score. And then lastly, versus Bundura at Yulong Park. Bundura won the toss and elected to field. Riverside declared, this is the rain affected game, so that's why there would be no compulsory closure, and that's why you would need to declare to make sure you have enough time to win the game. So that's why Riverside declared 7 for 195 after 63 overs, Gedge 50, Bragg 78, Jerkovic 22, and then double figure scores to Smythe and Johns. For the Bundura bowlers, Ganley 4 for 40, and then ones to Fullerlove, Caracella and Brennan. In response, Bundura did not compete, getting bowled out for 129, Tack 45, Caracella 23, Brennan 23. Hartigan for the Riverside bowlers, Hartigan took 4 for 14, Woolcock 3 for 43, and then Lewis 2 for 12. And so there you have it. Like I said at the beginning of the show, Riverside, despite losing that first game to Diamond Creek, have come back and won all 4 of their next games, and that's why they are 4-1. and at the top of the ladder, while Diamond Creek, which we looked at a bit earlier, were able to tie one game. After their first game, which was a win, then there was a tie, and the other 3 games they lost 1 and won 2, which is why they're 3-1 with 1 tie. So there you go. That is now you're up to date with exactly where the B grade is at this moment in time. You know everything about who's done what so far this season, and so there's nothing else to update you on. And so now we are going to take another break, and when we come back, the players are ready to walk on the field and start this game. So don't go away. The morning show is coming to an end, and then we're going to have some live cricket very, very soon. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson. We are about to watch round 6 of the B grade between Diamond Creek and Riverside here at the beautiful Coventry Oval. Take a break now, and when we come back, we'll have the players walking onto the field.
There's something missing, this apparition where the light once shined. I know it's hollow, I guess we all know when it's time. With no emotion, a slow explosion with a flash of light. But I won't close my eyes, and we are blinded by it all, and we are waiting for the faded one to fall. There's no surrender. Our last offenders walked away and died. Is this attrition or just submission to the tide? These final moments, our last opponents are upon us now. But I can only see your face, and we are blinded by it all, and we are waiting for the faded one to fall. And we won't stay, we won't go. There is no road to follow. In the cold snow, in our wet clothes, we wave our white flag high. But I'm hearing no reply. And we are blinded by it all, and we
Okay, everybody, it appears that the umpire is now walking onto the field. He was just having a polite chat to someone, and now it's only a matter of a little bit of time before the players will come out and join the umpire. So the question that we've been proposing so far today is this is first versus second, of course, and the crucial element is going to be obviously the first point is going to be who will win. Looks like the umpire is walking off the field, so maybe we're a bit premature. Yep, he's walking off the field. Okay, so we're not about to start play. Alright, so we might as well just take another break, and when we come back we'll have the players actually walking onto the field, and then we'll discuss the situation in terms of the match. Here we go. The Riverside fielding team are walking onto the field, following the lead of the umpire, and here come the two batsmen for Diamond Creek. And you can see that they're now updating the scorecard to make sure that it is all accurate. And let's have a look at these players. Yes. So, like I was saying, this is a crucial game for in determining the shape and character of the top four, because this is obviously first versus second, which means whoever wins this game will be in a position to basically be in control of this league, because if you can win this game, you are making a statement that you are the best team in the competition, that everyone else needs to compare themselves to you. Alright, as the players all come into their positions. Now let's see, this is the two batsmen just having a quick chat. So this is obviously this is the B grade, so there's 80 overs each day, which means this will be a 40 over game. The opening bowler is taking his mark. The batsman is about to take Okay. Everything's in position. Alright, now it's time to take a break. When we come back, we've got ball one. This is Channel 8, the local sports network. This is Diamond Creek versus Riverside.
Flutter by, butterfly, into the sky, till you're out of sight. And I won't run, I won't fight. Oh, oh, I've got my feet on the ground. Little bird, say the word. I will be there with my hands held high, and I will reach to the sky. Oh, oh, I've got my feet on the ground. will be. Follow me into the field where I clipped your wings, and I will wait for your sting. Oh, oh, I've got my feet on the ground.